Have you ever felt a connection with someone you have never met, yet your heart already recognizes them? Somewhere in this world there is a soul that feels familiar, like a story you were always meant to read. Today this message is not just words, it is a feeling, a promise, and maybe a destiny waiting to happen. My love, if you are listening to this right now, I want you to know something simple but powerful. Across cities, across time, across every distance between us, my heart has been searching for you. And the truth is, I don't want perfect moments. I don't want a perfect story. I just want one real moment where I can finally stand in front of you and say, my love, I want to meet you. Sometimes life feels like a long road that stretches farther than the eye can see. You walk through crowded streets, you meet thousands of faces, you hear countless voices, yet something inside you whispers that the person your heart is truly waiting for is still somewhere out there. I felt that whisper many times. Not loud, not dramatic, just a quiet feeling that stayed with me when the world became silent. A feeling that somewhere in this world you exist. I don't know your city. I don't know the street you walk on every day. I don't know what the sky looks like when you look up at night. But strangely, even without knowing those things, my heart believes in you, as if we have already shared 1,000 moments together. Maybe that sounds crazy to some people, but love has never been something that needed permission from logic. Love appears quietly, it grows silently, and before you even realize it, it becomes a part of your thoughts, your dreams, and the way you see the future. There were nights when I looked at the sky and wondered if somewhere under the same stars you were doing the same thing. Maybe you were standing on a balcony. Maybe you were walking alone with music in your ears. Maybe you were simply lying in your room thinking about life, about love, about the person you might meet someday. And maybe without realizing it, we were thinking about each other at the same time. Life is strange like that. It connects people long before they actually meet. Sometimes two souls begin their journey toward each other years before they ever shake hands, before they ever hear each other's voice, before they ever stand face to face. And during that time, life keeps shaping them. Every lesson, every heartbreak, every moment of growth slowly prepares them for the moment when their paths finally cross. I believe that. I believe that somewhere in the story of this world, there is a page where our names are written close to each other. Maybe we haven't reached that page yet. Maybe we are still walking through the chapters that lead to it. But the thought of that moment, the thought of finally seeing you, is something that lives quietly inside me. Not as a fantasy, but as a hope. Because meeting someone who truly understands you is one of the rarest experiences life can offer. Someone who looks at you and doesn't see perfection, but still chooses you. Someone who hears your silence and understands what words cannot explain. Someone who walks beside you, not because life is easy, but because they believe the journey is worth sharing. That kind of connection cannot be forced. It cannot be rushed. It cannot be replaced. Maybe that is why the idea of meeting you feels so important to me. Not because I want a perfect story, not because I want a dramatic moment like something from a movie, but because I want something real. A moment where the world becomes quiet for a second, where two strangers look at each other and realize they are not strangers anymore. Where a simple smile carries more meaning than 1,000 conversations. I imagine that moment sometimes. Not in great detail, just small pieces. The way you might look at me for the first time, the way the air might feel different, as if the universe itself paused to watch something meaningful begin. The way we might both feel a strange sense of familiarity, like meeting someone you have known in your heart long before you knew their name. And in that moment, nothing else would matter. Not the distance that existed before, not the time we spent searching, not the uncertainty that life placed between us. Because suddenly everything would make sense. All the waiting, all the wondering, all the quiet hope. And maybe the most beautiful part of that moment wouldn't be something dramatic. Maybe it would just be something simple. Two people standing in front of each other, smiling softly, realizing that the long journey through life has finally brought them to the same place at the same time. A moment that feels calm, natural, honest. Because when something is truly meant to happen, it doesn't feel forced. It feels like coming home. And that is why, wherever you are right now, whoever you are, whatever road life has placed in front of you, there is something I want you to know. Somewhere out here, someone believes in the possibility of meeting you. Someone looks at the future and quietly hopes that one day our paths will cross. Someone wakes up every day knowing that the world is big, unpredictable, and sometimes difficult, but still believing that among billions of people, there is one person whose presence could make everything feel a little more meaningful. That person might be you. And maybe today, we are just two lives moving through different places, following different routines, living different stories. But life has a strange way of bringing people together. When the time is right, when the moment arrives, it does not announce itself loudly. It simply happens. One step, one meeting, one unexpected moment that changes the direction of everything. And somewhere deep inside, I believe that moment exists for us. Not because I demand it, not because I expect life to give me exactly what I want, but because sometimes the heart understands something before the mind does. It senses a connection before the world reveals it. It believes in someone before it has even seen their face. And if that feeling is real, if somewhere in this vast world you are walking toward the same future, then one day the distance between us will disappear. One day the unknown will become familiar. One day two separate journeys will quietly become one shared path. And when that day comes, there will only be one simple truth left in my heart. My love, I want to meet you. Distance is a strange thing. People often believe it is measured in kilometers, in cities, in oceans that stretch endlessly between two places on a map. They believe distance is something powerful enough to keep people apart forever. But the truth is, distance has never been the strongest force in the world. The strongest force has always been connection. Because when two souls are meant to find each other, distance becomes nothing more than a temporary road they both must walk. Think about it. Every day, billions of people wake up under the same sky. Some of them live only a few streets away from each other, yet they never truly meet. Others are separated by thousands of miles, different languages, different cultures, different lives, and somehow one day their paths cross in the most unexpected way. Life moves people like pieces on a chessboard. One decision leads to another. One day leads to the next. A random moment changes direction. A simple choice places you somewhere new. And suddenly, the distance that once seemed impossible begins to shrink. Distance cannot stop destiny when two hearts are moving toward the same moment. Sometimes the world tests patience. It makes people wait. It makes them walk different roads, learn different lessons, grow in different ways before they are ready to meet the person who will truly understand them. And during that time, it can feel like the distance is endless, like the universe itself has placed too many obstacles between two lives. But what people often forget is that time and distance are not barriers when something real is growing quietly in the background. They are preparation. Every challenge, every delay, every moment of waiting shapes the person you are becoming. It teaches you things about yourself. It strengthens your heart. It makes you ready for the moment when you finally meet someone who will see you completely. Because meeting the right person at the wrong time can sometimes feel just as distant as living on the other side of the world. But when the right moment arrives, distance loses its power. Two people who once lived separate lives suddenly begin walking toward the same direction. Maybe they don't realize it at first, Maybe they are just living their daily routines, unaware that somewhere out there, another person is slowly getting closer to them through the strange movements of life. A new city, a new job, a new opportunity, a random conversation, a moment that seems small at first, but later becomes the turning point of an entire story. Distance slowly disappears in ways no one expects. What once felt impossible becomes simple. What once felt far away suddenly feels close enough to touch. And when two people finally stand in the same place at the same time, they often realize something surprising. The distance was never the real challenge. The real challenge was becoming the person they needed to be before meeting each other. Because true connection is not about proximity. It is about timing. It is about growth. It is about two people reaching a moment in their lives where they are ready to recognize each other. When that happens, distance no longer matters. Flights can be taken, roads can be traveled, cities can be crossed, time zones can be ignored. None of those things are stronger than the quiet determination of two hearts that know they are meant to meet. History is full of stories where people traveled across countries just to see someone they loved. Letters once took months to arrive, yet people still waited for them. Voices once had to cross oceans through fragile signals, yet conversations still happened. Love has always found a way to travel farther than distance. And even now, in a world that moves faster than ever before, the truth remains the same. Distance is only powerful when people give up. But when someone truly believes in meeting the person their heart is searching for, distance slowly becomes nothing more than a challenge waiting to be crossed. A temporary space between two moments, the moment before meeting and the moment after. Because the day two souls finally meet, distance becomes a memory. Something that once seemed enormous, but now feels small compared to the feeling of finally standing face to face. And in that moment, people often realize something simple but powerful. Every kilometer, every delay, every long stretch of waiting was just a part of the journey that led them exactly where they were always meant to be. Sometimes I close my eyes and imagine the day we finally meet. Not because I want to escape reality, but because the thought of that moment feels peaceful, like a quiet promise the future is slowly preparing. I don't imagine anything dramatic, no grand stage, just a simple moment in an ordinary place that suddenly becomes unforgettable. Maybe it is a calm afternoon on a city street where people are passing by without noticing anything special. The world continues moving like it always does. Cars drive by, conversations fill the air, footsteps echo on the pavement. Everything feels normal. And then in the middle of that ordinary moment, I see you. At first it is just a glance. Two strangers noticing each other in the crowd. But something feels different in that instant. Not loud, not overwhelming, just a quiet feeling that something important is happening. It is the kind of moment where time feels slower, not because the world stops, but because your mind suddenly becomes aware of everything. The sound of the wind, the movement of people around you, the small expressions on someone's face, and there you are. Maybe you are walking toward me. Maybe you are standing still for a second, trying to understand why this moment feels strangely familiar. There are no rehearsed words, no perfect sentences prepared in advance. Just two people standing face to face for the first time, carrying all the unknown pieces of their lives with them. And I imagine the way you might look at me trying to read the person in front of you. Not with judgment, not with expectations, but with curiosity. Because meeting someone who could change your life always begins with curiosity. You wonder who they are. You wonder what kind of story they carry inside them. You wonder why your heart feels slightly calmer standing near them. And maybe we both smile. Not a big smile meant to impress anyone. Just a small, honest smile that appears naturally when two people feel comfortable without needing a reason. That is the kind of moment I imagine. No pressure, no rush, just presence. Because sometimes the most meaningful beginnings happen quietly. Maybe we start talking about simple things. Where we came from, what kind of day we had, what dreams we once had as children. The conversation might be slow at first, careful, gentle, but slowly something begins to open. Walls that people usually carry with them begin to soften. The distance that once existed between two strangers starts fading away, and suddenly it doesn't feel like we are meeting someone new. It feels like reconnecting with someone who was always meant to be part of your life. That feeling is rare. You can meet hundreds of people and never experience it. But when it happens, you recognize it immediately because comfort appears without effort. Silence no longer feels awkward. Even a quiet moment together feels meaningful. I imagine us walking somewhere after that first meeting, maybe through a park, maybe through a quiet street filled with evening lights, maybe nowhere special at all. And yet everything feels special because the place doesn't matter. The moment does. The presence of someone who makes the world feel a little calmer, a little brighter, a little more real. Maybe we laugh about small things. Maybe we share stories we normally wouldn't tell strangers. Maybe we simply enjoy the strange beauty of meeting someone who feels important, even though you have only known them for a short time. And during that time, something inside both of us begins to understand a quiet truth. Some meetings are not accidents. Some meetings feel like the result of countless invisible moments that slowly guided two people toward each other. Different roads, different experiences, different lives, all leading to one simple point in time. The moment where two paths finally cross. I imagine looking at you and realizing something I cannot fully explain with words. A sense of familiarity, a sense that the long search people sometimes carry in their hearts has finally led them somewhere meaningful. Not perfect, not flawless, just real. And maybe that is the most beautiful part, because perfection is something people try to create, but real connection is something people simply feel. In that imagined moment, the world around us continues moving like always. People pass by without knowing anything important has happened. Life continues with its usual rhythm. But for us, something quiet and powerful begins. A story that started long before the meeting itself. A story written through time, patience, hope, and the strange way life moves people closer to each other without them even realizing it. And in that simple moment of finally standing in front of you, one thought becomes clear in my mind. The wait was never wasted. The distance was never meaningless. Every step that led to this moment was simply life guiding two people toward the day they would finally look at each other and realize they were always meant to meet. My love, wherever you are, I want you to know, I am still walking toward you.